Hi guys, we are now in the famous B styles of IELTS Task 2 writing, and the video prior to this, video number 7, actually showed you a sample of an essay that was written using one of the B styles, and I did pause it in one of towards the end of that video. If you could somewhat discern what differentiates the B styles from the earlier styles that were discussed, being the A1 and the A2 styles, and I hope you come up with your own inference as to what differentiates the B styles from the rest of them. The A styles actually started with video number 1. Remember, the A styles are used if the question prompt is one-sided or only mentions one side of the issue. That was in video 1, and in that video we talked about an essay that agrees to a question prompt. So that is the A1 style, wherein you just come up with agreements to why you believe in a one-sided question proposition. Jumping to video 2, we now came up with the A2 style, wherein the writer will now disagree with the one-sided proposition. And as we learned in that video, you just cannot flat out argue or disagree arguments. But what you have to do is to perform the kill, wherein it's a two-step process wherein you'll first have to mention the arguments of the agree sides and then kill these arguments afterwards. It was in that video where we introduced cardinal rule number 1. If the writer agrees with a one-sided proposition, then the writer may just choose to posit a number of arguments to defend one's agreements. So that's the A1 style. However, if the writer disagrees with a proposition, then she should not forget to kill the arguments of the agree side. That is the A2 style. Going over to video number 3, we had to show passer essays that actually use the A1 and the A2 style, and you saw this in that third video with one essay scoring a band 7 and another scoring a band 7.5. By video 4, a lot of questions came out as to the A1 and the A2 style, so I felt we really need a video to discuss this in detail. Particularly, the question is on the A2 style. When the writer disagrees with a one-sided question, then why is it that the writer cannot just posit the disagree arguments? And the reason behind that is because the agree arguments are in the question prompt itself. And cardinal rule number 2 was therefore introduced, which states that everything that's in the question prompt should be duly expounded, expanded, explained, and elaborated in the essay. So these are the agree arguments, and then afterwards, after you have duly expounded and expanded the arguments explicitly stated in the one-sided question prompt, then you should now proceed to kill these arguments. Video 5, we now talked about the A2 style, which is a variant of the A2 style, which is the kill and bury. So if you remember, the kill is where you mention the agree arguments and then you kill it afterwards. And the bury is now where you mention your own disagree arguments. So there's really a difference between the disagree arguments over here and the kill arguments over there. And with that, we proceeded to video number 6, wherein we talked about the actual passer essays that use the kill and bury style, wherein the writer not only cited the agree arguments and killed them, but decided to push on further by mentioning the disagree arguments. Video number 7 is now the crossover, wherein we discuss the crossover A2 style, wherein we discuss question prompts that have explicit two sides of an issue. So this is quite different from the first video where we only talked about question prompts that only mention one side of the issue. So as is the rule, if you will implement the A2 style, then you'll have to implement cardinal rule number 3, which states that in a crossover question prompt, should the writer choose one value over the other, then the writer is mandatorily required to kill the arguments of the opposing side. So that being said, if there are two sides of an issue and you happen to choose one over the other, then please don't forget to mention the arguments of the opposing side and then kill it afterwards. And video number 8 now, of course, sample the actual passer essay using the B1 style, which is a crossover style, and this is really the introduction to the B styles, and which is what we will be talking about today. So if you are somehow confused by that summary of all the videos that just came out, then I would really recommend that you go through all the videos one by one and try to avoid skipping the videos, because really the questions build up from the previous video. I mean, the videos build up from the previous video, so you cannot just jump to video 4, for example, and then after having only seen video 1, otherwise you would end up having a lot of questions. It's gonna mess up your mind. So I really recommend that you go through videos 1 to video 7 in their linear order, and please make sure to watch the videos from end to end so that you won't miss a critical lesson. So now we're gonna be talking about the B styles, and uh, just a just a brief history on how this was developed. Remember when we were first talking about the A1 style, we said that this is really the most fundamental of all styles, wherein everybody really can argue this way one-sidedly. But the A2 style was really a discovery, wherein suddenly we found out that it's just not possible for you to just disagree to a question prompt, but you'll have to cite the agree arguments and then kill these in conformity with cardinal rule number 2, which states that the agree arguments being explicitly stated should be stated in your essay as well. So the discovery of the A2 style was it really opened the floodgate, so to speak. It suddenly led to a lot of passers, and then people suddenly began to realize what was wrong with their essay. And so with that, there really was a cause for celebration. But of course, after having discovered something, then new questions arise. And one of the questions that came up to mind was, would it be actually possible to argue for both sides of the issue? So this was a question that was first wait, let's just fix would it be possible to argue for both sides of the issue? This was a question that first came out in class, and admittedly, it was an intriguing question. And like looking at life itself, if you are indeed faced with two choices, then isn't it possible that you can actually argue for both of them? And so the question now has to be posited, wherein would it be possible to have this kind of style for the IELTS exam? And what we did succeeding to this is I personally actually looked at a lot of model answers, and I really scoured all the materials on IELTS, particularly the Cambridge materials, and I did see that there were some essays that did score a minimum band 7 because they argued for both sides of the issue. And so this discovery actually tripled the chances of the students of passing the IELTS exam. So if you remember, there was the A1 style, and then the A2 style. The discovery of the A2 style somehow doubled the chances of the students of passing the IELTS exam. And now, with the discovery of the B styles, particularly the B1, which we will be talking about today, suddenly the chances of the students passing the IELTS exam has now been tripled. And an example of that is what you see in the last video, wherein we did talk about this question prompt that came out in the last exams a week ago, wherein my student actually was confronted with a question about whether some people believe that an organization will become successful if there's good communication between managers and workers, and others, however, believe that there are more important factors that make up a successful organization. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So the writer, my student, correctly recognized this as a crossover. It's not a one-sided question prompt. And that being the case, so the writer knows that you cannot possibly use the A1 style anymore because this is a crossover. And so the only options left would be the A2 style or any of the B styles. And it so happens that the writer did recognize that this question can actually be answered by using the B1 style, the subject of today's lesson. So what the writer did is the writer did expound on the value of good communication between managers and workers in the first body paragraph. This is explicitly stated in the question prompt. So the writer did not forget the cardinal rule, which states that everything that's in the question prompt should be duly expounded, expanded, explained, and elaborated in the essay. But the writer also saw that more important factors were also cited in the question prompt, and therefore, as the writer proceeded to the second body paragraph, the writer began to outline what these more important, supposedly more important factors are. And if you'll see how that was done, you'll have to look at video number 7. I hope you didn't skip that video. And then, as the writer did already came up with the two body paragraph, the first body paragraph talking of good communication, and then the second body paragraph talking of more important factors, then the writer now proceeded to conclude the essay by saying that all of these factors are actually very important in order to ensure a successful organization. And so, in that case, what the writer performed is what we now call the B1 style. And I hope you somehow get a feel of what that looks like. So the B1 style is an essay where the writer argues that both sides of the issue can coexist together. There's really no need to choose one side over the other side. Let's have both these sides, and there's no other better way but to recommend for both sides of the issue. I have a sample essay over here, and there it is. This one came out in May 14, 2017. People should be healthy not only for themselves but for society's behalf. And the prompt is, to what extent do you agree or disagree? So, students of mine who actually went through this essay suddenly realized that it is indeed a crossover essay. Like, for example, you can see here that people should be healthy not only for themselves, and then they also saw that people should be healthy for society's behalf there. So since there were two sides of the issue that were mentioned in the essay, then the writer already knew that this was going to be a crossover essay. Take note that the prompt says, to what extent do you agree or disagree? It doesn't follow that if the question prompt is to what extent do you agree or disagree, it doesn't follow that you're just using the A1 or the A2 style. So like in this case, this clearly is now a crossover or one of those B styles because the writer, I mean the question prompt did mention two sides of an issue. So that's a very important skill. You just really need to look at all the words very carefully, very critically, and then you will recognize that indeed there are two sides of the issue that were mentioned here. And therefore, this is clearly a crossover, regardless of whether the question prompt was to what extent do you agree or disagree. So that having been said, I'm now proceeding to the bulleting stage. This was discussed in detail in videos number 1 and video number 2, wherein I did emphasize that all writers should devote 5 minutes to properly plan their essay and create the outline that they'll be using for their essay. Otherwise, the writer is in danger of using wrong bullets or coming up with bullets that are off topic. So that being the case, the bulleting stage is really critical in the process. I see this a lot in all the other videos, and please do not think that bulleting is a waste of time. It actually helps you save time because you already know what you will be discussing. So that being said, I will now proceed to, so let's assume that we already have our introductory paragraph over there, and that will be the subject of another video, like I keep saying. And then now let's proceed with arguing for value A, which is people should be healthy not only for themselves. And we can now say that people should indeed be healthy for themselves in order to maintain their productivity. So let me just underline the key phrase here, maintain their productivity. So in the bulleting stage, you can just write maintain their productivity, and you already know that this is really the argument that you're going to be using. And so maybe you can just expound in the writing stage by saying that people are healthy, then they can actually perform their responsibilities at work, and they can earn money, and they'll be able to continue to contribute to the organization, etc. And another argument that you can use for value A is to cite that if people if people are able to maintain productivity, then they can continue to provide for themselves and their families. So maybe you can just underline provide for themselves and their families. You know that already in the bulleting stage, you just need to write that underlined phrase. And you know already that what you will be talking about as you begin the essay. So you just simply say that if people, basically what you're saying here, there's people are earning salaries, then they can be able to provide for their food, housing, shelter, and everything, and all the needs of the families, like the education of the kids, and all the gadgets that they need, and everything like that. So, having argued both sides, then you now proceed to value B, which now talks about the opposing side of the issue about being healthy for society's behalf. And so you can say here that people should be healthy for society as well. Remember, we are balancing both sides, we are agreeing to both sides. Because if so, then they can contribute in the form of, okay, the form of taxes, or in the outputs that they produce at work there. So that being said, then you can just underline this phrase. They can contribute in the form of taxes, or in other outputs there. So in the bulleting stage, you just have to write that phrase, and you know already that you are actually talking about societal contributions in the form of taxes and in the outputs that they produce at work. So you can just expound on that accordingly in the writing stage. And then another argument that you can posit for value B is that if people contribute in taxation, then this helps in nation building, and helps generate revenue there for other subsidies, such as in health, education, infrastructure, job generation, etc., etc. So there. So once you've there, wait, we can just underline here people contribute in taxation, and then you already know what the rest of it is talking about. And that having been said, it's now time for you to conclude by saying that both people should indeed be healthy for themselves, but also in for the sake of societal development and progress. That is now the B1 style, or the coexist, wherein you argue for both sides of the issue. I hope that makes sense, everybody. And next video, we will now be talking about the B2 style. And of course, soon after that, I'll be showing you sample essays that did score very well using these styles, just to prove that these argumentative styles that we're talking about in this series of videos are proven and are effective for the IELTS exam and for other exams as well, I'm sure. So I'll see you in the next video, video number 9. Bye, guys.